message from the big British castle, coming live from the Glastonbury Festival. We're inside a special area with great big walls, so the weirders and the hoolies can't get through to go to the loo.
The only way that could have been more appropriate is if it had been called Idiot Hole, Idiot Hole.
It's a way to get your single on the radio, isn't it? To make it about the radio.
Yeah.
That's a classic tactic for getting yourself in there.
How would your song about the radio go?
Oh, the DJ that's playing the song is cool, and the station he works for is the best in the world. The show he presents is number 1 in the city. Radio is great. Please play me, I'm pretty.
I love that song. What's it called?
It's called Radio is Cool.
Do you want to hear my one?
Yeah.
This song is playing on the radio. Hey ho, come on, let's go. Listen to the song on the radio. This is the song that is playing right now.
Well, it's very stripped down, your one. It's not. My one was so flattering to everyone.
Well, yours was more tuneful, admittedly.
Yeah, and flattering as well.
Listen to the song on the radio. Hey ho,
yours might
come
get
on, let's
played
go.
on a pirate station.
Listen to the song on the radio.
When I say pirate
it's the
station,
one
I
that's
mean
playing right now.
One, at the turn of the century.
Yeah.
When there were pirates.
And then,
mine's very contemporary.
Right.
Yeah, but good try, man.
Yeah. You got a good voice, though. We were just backstage. Hey, we should say, I'm Adam.
I'm Joe. Hello. This is BBC Six Music live from Glastonbury 2009.
We were just hanging out backstage there in the BBC compound. And lovely Keris Matthews, another Six Music DJ and, of course, a wonderful music star in her own right, came over, and we've been trying to coach Joe with his guitar playing, because we promised rashly on Friday night when we did our Sunset show.
One of many rash promises.
9 and 10. We love to make rash promises. One of our many rash promises was that at some point over this weekend, Joe was going to sing a sincere version of Neil Young's Harvest Moon and play the guitar. So he had to reacquaint himself with the chords. That hasn't been an easy process.
Yeah, you're saying that in the past tense as if I have done it.
Yeah.
I still have to do it.
Still in the process. But Keris came over at one stage, and we were hoping she might be able to solve the guitar chord problems. She didn't. But she did say that Joe had a lovely voice.
She did, yeah. And that coming from Keris Matthews.
I was pretty jealous. Yeah.
That's very flattering.
She's got a wonderful voice.
Man, these webcams are up again, and I must say I look really bad.
Oh, come on. Oh, look, I look ridiculous. Hey, I've got my sailor hat on there. You can check out...
Where can us to be on television?
Where can people check out the webcam?
bbc.co.uk/Glastonbury. You can get all kinds of BBC coverage, including our peculiar mugs.
Yeah.
But honestly, you're better just to let us live in your imaginations.
This is the song that is playing on the radio.
I love that song.
Later on this programme, you will find out how we did when we took our listeners' made-up jokes to Glastonbury. We played a gig, myself and Joe, in the Cabaret tent yesterday. You'll find out how it went after about midday today. At about 1 o'clock, we'll be joined by Laverne. Then she'll be at the helm for the last hour of the programme, and we'll be sort of wandering around the site, occasionally reporting back to her.
We're going to have a live performance from Emmy the Great, we're very excited about, and lots of great live music coming up, all recorded here at the festival. Bon Iver, Springsteen, lots of highlights coming up.
Right now, here's Gaz and Danny, better known as Gaz and Danny from Supergrass, here calling themselves Hot Rats, an outfit they put together to play this Glastonbury festival, and they've been playing loads of covers. And this is a cover they did on Friday night at the Park stage here at Glasgow. This is The Cure's Love Cats.
Thank you and goodbye.
Well, it's good, but it's no... This is the song that is playing.
You're not letting go of that, are you?
It's going to be a hit.
Thank you and goodbye.
That was Danny and Gaz from Supergrass masquerading as the Hot Rats, playing a cover of The Cure's Love Cats, of course. For Glastonbury 2009, they were playing at the Park stage on Friday night. Set the scene for us today, Joe.
Well, it's a sort of slightly cooler morning here at Glastonbury. There is a light breeze blowing, an intermittent sunshine, and there's a general feeling of, thousands and thousands of people emerging from a woolly hangover cave.
The litter situation when we arrived on the site this morning was quite...
slightly revolting.
Extreme.
Yeah, I found it. I went to get a bacon roll, and I had to walk back with the bacon roll across the site, and I found it... I couldn't eat the roll. It was kind of too revolting.
I mean, there were people, there's a huge army of people who are employed to pick up the litter.
I say, it wasn't the roll that was revolting, it was the environment I was walking through.
Sure, the roll was
so
amazing.
Unappetising.
I had a roll from that place, it was extraordinary. And no, it was an amazing, a sea of litter and seagulls circling overhead. It was like just partying in a giant rubbish tip.
And it's weird for people of our generation. I remember as a child the Keep Britain Tidy campaign.
Yes.
The little man dropping the thing in the bin. And it was so kind of pushed into our heads as kids not to drop litter.
No.
But obviously that message hasn't carried through the generations.
I mean, fair enough. If you're standing in a massive heaving crowd, it's difficult to deal with the litter. What would you do in that situation?
I would pop it in my pocket.
Pop it in my pocket?
No, because we're also of the generation where they stopped there being litter bins on public transport because of the IRA in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
So you were used to popping stuff in your pocket. And we only say this because we went to the Fuji Rock Festival in Japan years ago, and the Japanese have a completely different approach, don't they? It was completely litter-free.
Yeah.
And not only that, in Japan they don't like to crowd. So I watched Neil Young there, and there was literally a metre around me. Even though I was about 4 metres from the stage. There wasn't even a crush at the front of the crowd. Do you know what I mean?
There was just less people. There are a huge amount of people packed into a smaller space here. Yeah, definitely. So it makes it all that much more difficult. I mean, Michael Eavis is absolutely committed to keeping the site as clean as possible.
And there were people going around picking up litter, doing a very good job.
Yeah, and after the festival is over, of course, the place is spotless. They return it to its pristine state. But you're right, during the festival itself, I don't understand why people don't go that extra mile. You know, less than a mile, isn't it?
Yeah.
That extra distance.
The bins were overflowing, so maybe it's not the crowd's fault.
Right. But what's wrong with having... Because you see, what I like to do when I'm in a situation where maybe there's not a bin around, is I like to take my own little bin bag with me.
Do you?
I love to roll up a little bin bag.
You've got a Gucci bin bag, haven't you?
It's just a
Diamante-encrusted Gucci bin bag.
It's just a regular bin bag. I do have a Diamante-encrusted
You've got Jimmy
Gucci
Choo's, made of rubbish.
But, you know, I have my bin bag, and if I've just got overflowing rubbish and there's no immediate place to dump it, I'll put it in the bin bag, and then I'll carry it around with me for the next 5 weeks.
Yesterday, you were walking around completely nude with just your Diamante bin bag.
Yes, exactly, covering my
and
jewelries.
A little bit of lippy and eyeliner. Was that you?
Yes, it was. I can't believe you told everyone about that. So there you go. But the site is already, as we speak, looking cleaner. There's people picking up rubbish.
It's looking beautiful, in fact.
And on the stage right now, you may be able to hear behind us some of the sound bleeding through. It's Easy Star All Stars. They played yesterday as well.
Now they've been bumped up to an early morning slot on the Pyramid stage.
Do they play their own stuff as well as covers of other people's stuff? It's mainly covers. So today they're doing some Beatles stuff out there. They just did Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. We are going to play some music for you right now from Basement Jaxx, though. This is not a live track. This is just a regular track called Raindrops. Basement Jaxx with Raindrops. Hey, this is Adam.
Hello, this is Joe.
We're at Glastonbury 2009. We're live for the next few hours here in the little BBC outside broadcast van.
And that means anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Within BBC guidelines.
Absolutely. We wouldn't
So that means not much.
Betray the public's trust in any way by doing anything really fun.
Yeah.
So, folks, later on in the programme, you're going to be finding out how we got on when we unveiled we went through a whole list of classic made-up jokes that have been sent in over the past few months to this programme.
We performed listeners' comedy material in front of a huge crowd at Glastonbury. How many people do you think were in that cabaret tent? 1 million?
I would say close to 1 million.
Close to 1 million people.
Yeah, a special unit of the police had to be mobilised to deal with them. There was a lot of people, though, seriously. I mean, there must have been about 500?
1,000.
No, about 500, though. That's 500. Quite a good crowd.
Yeah.
You know, in a tent.
We didn't know what was going to happen. I was pretty nervous. I thought we were going to get bottled or shouted at. But you can find out exactly what happened later. But then we ran into somebody who performed before us.
Well, we ran into Kevin Eldon.
Yeah.
He was on before us, and he's got a character called Paul Hamilton, who's like a very worthy poet. I don't know if you have ever seen...
What would people know Kevin from?
Oh, man, he's been in so many things.
He's pretty much in all good comedy.
He's done a lot of things with Chris Morris. He was in Brass Eye.
He was in Jam as well, wasn't he?
He was in Big Train.
Yeah.
A lot. You know, like the sketch in Big Train where it's Ming the Merciless and his...
in the hospital.
Yes, Ming was played by Mark Heap from Spaced, and his sidekick was played by Kevin
Nighty
Alvin.
Night he was in as well.
Nighty Night. He was in Charlie Brooker's zombie thing.
He's brilliant.
He's amazing. Anyway, he does this character live called Paul Hamilton. So we bumped into him after the gig, and we were able to get Paul Hamilton to do a couple of very short poems for us. Here they are.
BBC Six Music, live from Glastonbury 2009 with Adam and Joe.
We're very excited to be joined by the poet Paul Hamilton. We found him here, soaking up the vibes. Paul, how was your gig?
I don't want to blow any trumpets, least of all my own, but...
I was wondering if you could do a short poem for us.
Sure, what kind of theme?
Non-swearing theme.
I don't swear.
Okay.
Unless it's reported speech. This has no reported speech. Okay, well, here, how about this one? It's short and sweet. It's called I Am a Dalek. Okay. I am a Dalek. No, literally.
Paul Hamilton, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Actually, we've probably got time for one more if you could handle it, Paul.
Yeah, sure. Okay, this is a poem I wrote after a rather bitter altercation with my partner, Sophie. It's okay. Everything's tickety-boo now. This is called Spain. I've no wish to go to Spain. No wish at all. And I shan't go. I shan't.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the rest of the festival.
Keep broadcasting, and please, all of you, keep listening.
Florence and the Machine with Dog Days are over, recorded live at Glastonbury, where we're coming to you from right now. This is Adam and Joe on BBC Six Music, and Florence did a beautiful hub session for Keris yesterday. It'll be up later on the BBC Glastonbury website, bbc.co.uk/Glastonbury.
What kind of machine does she have? What does it do?
It's a screaming machine.
Is it?
A yelping, screaming machine.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, those high notes she hits, they're not her. She, when she performs, she's sitting on a giant steam contraption. I'm surprised you haven't seen this.
No.
It's a steam power contraption. She operates various huge pedals and pulleys, and they produce yelps and screams. You know...
Like a muppaphone.
Exactly like a muppaphone. Ow,
Yeah.
ow, 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 ow.
There's a Coke commercial that ripped off the muppaphone recently.
Those commercials, they ruin everything.
They're absolutely unscrupulous.
But listen, I was thinking there's a big history of men screaming in rock.
Yeah.
Shouting particularly, Adam. You're a fan of shouty male
shouting.
rock. And men love to get together at concerts and have one of their idols shout and give them permission to just scream their heads off. Not so much in lady music. But Florence there is doing some terrific screaming and getting a really enthusiastic response from the ladies in the crowd who suddenly feel free to scream. Because girls, you know, there's a certain type of girl that just loves to scream.
Well, some girls are loud.
What?
Some girls are loud.
Some girls are loud.
Are loud. Girls are loud.
Wow, you should be a pop Svengali.
Shouldn't I,
If you
though?
can think of names like that.
But no, there's a lot more shouty girl bands around, actually.
That's true.
You know,
It's a bit of a trend at the moment. Yeah, that's
Bearsuit?
true.
They like to do a bit
We've
of
played
shouting.
some Bearsuit in the past.
But
that's just screaming in a record. That's quite unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice, though.
It's nice. I like it a
and
lot.
do you think, presumably...
I call it girl power.
Do you?
Yeah. Do you think that'll catch on?
I think that will catch on. That's
for
good.
a few months, then become really awful?
No, I think it'll be here to stay.
Here to stay, an important political force.
Yeah, definitely. Something that women can be proud of, finally.
Yeah.
Do you think, though, Florence is like that when she's at home and she just finds that someone's eaten her biscuits?
Yes. Exactly. Go on then. Who's going to do this?
My throat's giving out after a weekend. I'm not sure.
Oh, the toast! The toast!
Oh,
You burn the toast! Is that any good? Was that what people wanted?
This milk is off!
Nobody wanted that at this time in the morning. I feel dizzy.
It's almost... do you feel dizzy?
I'm going to be sick.
What's Dizzy going
I feel dizzy
to say about
Rascal.
that? Yeah.
I'm gonna say yo Glastonbury.
Dizzy wouldn't let you feel him, I tell you. He'd
wouldn't.
give you an absolute punch in the solar plexus. You know, he was around
good, though.
Dizzy Rascal yesterday, folks. He was playing. But he caused a little bit of a stir backstage because he's a tough lad and he's kept it very much street. He's still more or less what he was like when he
carries
was
bits of street in his pocket.
growing up.
Apparently.
Yeah, he's got little bits of tarmac tucked away in case he needs a little
sewn
nibble.
into his jeans.
Like some people have Kendall mint cake to keep their energy up. He just nibbles on tarmac. But he was wandering around after he did his fantastic set here at Glastonbury yesterday, with the crowd were 100% behind him. But a few people came across him, like in the backstage area. One fellow who works for Six Music went over and said, my daughter's a big fan. I'm sorry to ask this, but I was wondering if there's any chance of just getting an autograph. And he said this to Dizzy's manager, actually, not to Dizzy himself. The manager explained that wouldn't be possible and used the F word.
Right. That's keeping it street.
That's very street.
I would stand up for Dizzy and say that you and I don't know what it's like to be that famous.
Right.
And it can become a real nuisance.
Like some kind of albatross.
Yeah, people constantly stopping you, asking for autographs.
Wait a second.
He just needs some time to himself. It's not autographs these days either, it's photos on the camera phone, because everyone carries a camera.
Well, we came across many members of Black Squadron yesterday, and...
Yeah, but think about how famous we are, like, not at all. And we were stopped about 10 times between here and the Cabaret tent, so imagine if you were Dizzy Rascal.
Well, I just believe that manners cost nothing. What have you got to say to that?
I think there's a line... And it's easy to flip. I think you'll flip one day.
What? So once you go, manners cost nothing. What about that? I'm just going to keep saying that.
No, what you're saying is right, but at the same time, it's wrong.
Because the other thing is that he bumped into Gabby Logan, right, from 5 Live.
Yeah.
We were just talking to her on her show there, and she did a little interview with him. And at one point, he looked so depressed and was so uncommunicative and monosyllabic that she said, "Are you all right? You're not enjoying yourself?" And he just said, "I'd rather be eating broken glass."
Yeah, he does love eating broken glass, though.
That's true.
That's what he uses to wash down the nibbly tarmac.
When he's not nibbling tarmac, he's chewing on broken glass.
Hey, we should go to the news. It's 11:30 and 28.9 seconds. Here's the news.
Adam and Joe are live at Glastonbury. They got music, they got talking, they got BBC, which stands for beer, biscuits and crisps.
That was very nice, wasn't it? That was the Fleet Foxes from their debut album.
That was called Your Protector. You know what that reminds me of?
What does it remind you of, Joe?
It reminds me of listening to that in my kitchen. It reminds me of a kitchen and a house.
And does it?
Yeah.
Oh, good times.
Good times
Good
when we were in houses.
Yeah. Are you missing your kitchen? You're going to be back
Tiny bit. Quite looking forward to getting back to some, polished surfaces.
We have to go back to London today, listeners, and we're going to miss Blur. That's tragic.
It's awful. We can watch the BBC coverage, though, right? I was just slipping a little plug in there.
That's nice. Ooh.
Yeah,
I'm not going to dwell on that phrase. We're joined by Emmy the Great and Ewan, who plays with Emmy. You are Emmy the Great. Together you're Emmy the Great. But you're great, though, Emmy. Come on. As
well,
a
that's
person.
not to take anything away from Ewan, because I hear he's pretty great as well.
Ewan's more awesome.
Ewan's awesome.
Ewan the awesome. On your passport, though, it says Ewan the Brills. Ewan the Brills, he's absolutely brills. He's got skills. And they are both wielding guitars. Have you played already at Glastonbury?
Yeah, we played at a couple of gigs yesterday. One of them someone shouted Stephen.
Did
that?
Yes. Did that freak you out? Did you know what was going on there with people shouting Stephen?
Well, no, one of our band is called Stephen.
So did you think he just had a particularly loyal following?
Yes, and it was his first gig with us. I was surprised.
Wow.
That they cared so quickly.
And did someone explain what was going on?
Not until later, so I had to introduce him. So I was
right.
like, wow, they really like you, Steve. Come to the front.
Well, in a way that's good, but in a way it's depressing because it means you don't know our show.
I know what's going on. I just didn't want to. I just didn't want to say just coming on stage.
They call you the awesome.
But Joe, creative people, particularly musicians, are too busy to listen to radio programs.
Is it a new thing though? How new is it?
Just a couple of years.
No, it's been it's about a few months, I suppose, about 6 months worth of Stevenage.
I'm just dreaming,
I've seen T-shirts with it now. It's one of those things where you notice it everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
It's viral. It was invented
viral.
by it was invented very expensively by marketing men in Soho, wasn't it?
That's right. How was your gig yesterday, though?
It was really Queen's Head was really, really fun. It was.
And what sort of length of sets are you playing?
Half hour, except today, 40 minutes. Here we're going to do 40
question,
minutes.
I was going to say.
Is that okay?
I don't know what the resonance of that question is.
Exactly how long? That's my big question.
Can you be more precise for
Yesterday,
Adam?
I think we were 32 minutes.
That's
we went
the
2
answer I
minutes
was after.
over.
Do they get?
So sorry.
Do they get rough with you if you overplay here at Glastonbury? Do they treat you nicely?
Apparently, they charge like thousands of pounds. Per,
they fine you if you go over.
But not us. I think we'll be okay, but I think Bruce Springsteen...
Well, he can afford it. They probably tax the rich ones, right?
If you go over your allotted time...
That's how it should be.
That is how it should be, exactly. Democratic.
Exactly. So you're going to play a song for us today. What are you going to play?
We play Edward is Deadwood. It's our single.
Is it? Is it out now, or is it coming out shortly?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're as clued up as we are. That's good.
Stephen.
So here's Emmy the Great with Edward is Deadwood. Hey! That was amazing.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that so much. You know, the first time I became aware of your work was when I saw you doing something on YouTube called the Black Cab Sessions.
Oh, that was comedy.
I really recommend
really
those. They basically they take people, musicians, and they stick them in the back of a black cab, and they sort of just drive through London, and they play a song in the back acoustically.
Yeah, they've got the artist's permission.
Yeah.
It's not like a sort of a kidnap.
No, but it works really well, and you were fantastic on that, and that was absolutely lovely. Edward is Deadwood, nothing to do with the Pixies song.
Well, it was originally called Ed is Dead, but then I looked for it on iTunes after I made a demo of it and realised that there was a Pixies song.
There you go.
And what's the story behind the lyrics there? They were beautiful lyrics.
I have a friend who is a very beautiful and very vain person, and he asked me to write a song about him.
Is it me?
Years ago, yeah.
I
And
knew
what
it.
was the reference
Stop
there
being so
to?
vain.
What was the reference to smelly floss?
When was that?
Isn't there a lyric that's something about floss, or was I mishearing that?
It's about pandas.
No, I'll tell you what it was.
What are we doing?
You had this line, this was the line, it's empty too, it stinks of loss.
That's the one.
And I
You
heard that as-
transcribed the
I
song.
heard that as stinky
I'm
floss.
Well, I wrote
I
it
was
down
thinking
because...
Stinky
Someone's
floss
been
is
flossing their
disgusting.
teeth and they've left it around the
Yeah.
place, and you'd need a lot of floss to start generating a stink.
But not only have they
So I
left
had
it around
quite
the
a mental
place,
picture.
they've left it around the place, but then Emmy's gone in there, and
Yes.
you were thinking she's just had a little sniff.
She has, and it's made her remember the friend
Yeah.
and feel, melancholy.
They're so vain. No, because I was thinking, I wrote it down because I thought she's missing a trick there. It's empty too, it stinks of loss was your line. I was thinking, it's empty too, it stinks of poo. Surely is the line that you want when you're listening to
Well,
that.
if you're
track.
under 5,
Yes, but I'm saying,
I mean, it's
why
a bigger
exclude
market, the under
the
fives.
under fives?
Exactly.
You know? What's the album called?
Well, the album's called First Love, but we tacked on an extra. I mean, we created a deluxe edition
that's a good idea.
for the summer
Did we?
with really old songs. That's what when we were recording.
Yeah, oh, right.
That was
yeah.
what we were doing.
Ewan, you're only in it for the music, right? You don't care about the
Absolutely.
business side of it.
You haven't got like DVD extras on there. You know, everyone's got DVDs now included
Gotta
with their
have a free
albums.
DVD.
No, we should do that.
We're making
Let's
one.
make a video. Can we use your webcam footage?
Yes, people can check out the webcam footage, incidentally, if they go to bbc.co.uk/Glastonbury. You can check out Emmy the Great and Ewan. I'm sorry, you are Emmy the Great as a collective. Emmy and Ewan, who are Emmy the Great. You can check out myself and Joe looking like aged members of the Velvet Underground in here as well, with our shades on occasionally. Thank you so much for playing. I wish we could get another track from Emmy the Great, maybe a bit later on, if you can stick around, perhaps.
Yeah.
Would you be up for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, or now
Yeah.
even?
Do MI.
What do you want to
Okay,
do?
ready for that? We don't want to spring anything on you and freak you out.
No, it's
Can I
dead.
ask you before you play it though, if you buy the album, is it is there a lot more instrumentation on there, or is it quite stripped down what you
Yeah,
play?
there's quite a lot
Yeah,
of
it's
us.
full band.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
The collective grows. It's sort of like Ewan's arm and wristbands.
Right, yeah, he's got a lot of wristbands there.
People could see if they went on the
And he's got an
webcam.
extremely long right arm. It's about 2
Have I?
foot longer than his left arm.
This
So
gets longer
didn't
and
mean to
longer.
embarrass you there.
it's fine.
That's
it,
not true.
it has its uses.
So what are you going to play for us now then?
Should we do MIA?
Yeah, let's do it.
We've been given a schedule.
And this is nothing to do with the artist MIA.
It is exactly to do with the artist MIA.
Okay. Emmy the Great. Emmy the Great there with MIA.
How do you know it's finished?
Wow, we've still got the reverb on. Oh, I liked it with the reverb.
We did this.
Hey, the
Okay,
reverb's
I didn't
back.
see that.
That's
I've got the reverb.
We can do
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Wookey Hole, the largest hole in the West Country.
We are near Wookey Hole, aren't we?
That's why, yes,
we're
we are
inside
in
Wookey Hole,
Hole.
madam.
All right, my
To
bad.
your left, stalactites. To
Sorry.
your right,
I've done
stalagmites.
something wrong.
I've finished now.
You
take it
put
off
your
now.
headphones
I'll
on, then you
imagine,
can get
I
the.
know the effect of reverb.
Oh, that was beautiful. Well, please, can we get rid of the reverb? There we go. That was beautiful.
I like reverb. I wish I had reverb just naturally in my daily routine. On my
And
voice.
lyrically interesting as well. That was presumably a real occasion when somebody got the name of MIA confused there, that the song was based on, right?
That chorus is, it's exactly true, because I was like, do I put full stops between the letters?
Yeah.
My phone's just gone off, I'm really sorry.
So you can
No,
take
that's
it if
cool.
you want.
No, that's
It's
just...
the kind of thing that happens on this show. And has MIA heard that song? Have they heard that song?
I hope so. I'm still waiting for a
They should be
card
very
or a
flattered.
note.
Exactly.
I like it
Okay,
when
thank
people
you.
write songs about other people's songs, you know?
Yeah.
It's enjoyable. Thank you so much indeed that was a pretty banal thing for me to say.
No, it was good. We're all thinking about it.
It's my own way of saying that I liked this. What I should have said was I really liked that. And yeah, I like it when people write songs about songs. Here's a list of other things I like.
No, please, no. Please, no. Listen, let's back out of this. Thank you very much, you and Emmy,
I like it when
coming
my
into the
feet
studio.
Are nice and dry and my shoes don't leak.
Here's some
like
Bon Iver.
cereal.
Bon Iver. This is recorded live.
toast.
This is for Emma.
There's another band that goes by just one name, like Emmy the Great. That was Bon Iver. Do you know the name of the chap that is Bon Iver? He's not Bon, though, is he? He's Tommy Nutkins or something like that.
Yeah, he is Tommy Nutkins.
Tommy Nutkins. That was Tommy Nutkins playing for Emma last night here at Glastonbury 2009. I'm very pleased to say that we're joined by Julie Cullen here, who is the head of the Six Music News Department.
So, Julie, we're going to be a little bit stifled. We might be hesitant because we're intimidated by your importance, your position in the hierarchy.
We're intimidated by anyone in a position of authority.
Yes.
And we also have a problem with people in authority.
Yeah, so
really?
we might sort of be uppity,
a little bit
and
uppity.
a bit reactionary.
Yeah.
Well, you might get sent to the dunce's corner then, or get a bit of a spanking.
Oh, now you're talking. What am I talking about? Listen, Julie, let me just stop talking right now and ask you what you've got in the music news for us today.
Well, as you can hear, Status Quo has just taken to the Pyramid stage, which is a bit of a...
There it is.
Yeah. That's enough, thanks. Thank you. Thanks a lot. No, they're good, but, it's early in the morning.
It's early in the morning. It's a wonderful way to follow the rock ox that is Bruce Springsteen on the Pyramid stage.
Do you think that Quo are aware that they're in what is traditionally seen as the comedy slot?
I wouldn't have thought they minded, to be honest with you. It must just be nice for them to be playing to an appreciative field of stunned, dazed and confused festival goers on a Sunday morning.
That's the best time for them to get in there, isn't it?
Absolutely.
When the crowd are at their weakest. What? I've just woken up. Noises.
My legs aren't working. I can't get away.
It'll take them an hour to realise who they're listening to. What? Oh, God.
Hand grenades flying over your head. What is it? And then
you
there's
better something or get out of bed.
You're in the army now. Bombs flying over your head.
Bums?
Bums.
Flying bums.
So Bruce Springsteen, of course, was on last night, as you said, and he overran his allotted slot.
Yes, and Emmy the Great was telling us something I didn't know, that you get fined if you go over. Is that true?
Absolutely. You need to be aware of this, guys. Apparently, Mendip Council is policing the main stage. We've heard this morning some breaking news. There will be a £3,000 fine for Bruce Springsteen, which Michael Levis has stepped in and offered to pay for the fact that the set ran over, because everybody enjoyed it so much. He doesn't mind paying the fine on behalf of the boss.
And how many minutes did he overrun by then for £3,000?
I think it was about 15 minutes.
Right.
Well, hang on, but isn't Evis the guy that would apply the fine?
I think that there are representatives of Mendip Council on site.
Oh, it's a council fine.
It is.
Oh, I see, because they've got a
Why would Evis apply? Why would he fine his own festival guys? You haven't thought that through, Joe Cornish.
Well, I was thinking it through. That's what raised the question. But now I'm thinking maybe I can fine my neighbours for leaving their telly on loud at night. Is that feasible?
You'll have to apply strict rules, and it will have to be by the minute.
I'm going to move to the Mendips.
That's what's the logic though? Because there's no people living in the immediate vicinity, are there, who would be disturbed by the...
There aren't. No, perhaps the cows are a bit offended. Maybe they were planning to have an early night last night.
Yeah. Still, £3,000 for 15 minutes of Bruce feels like a bargain to me.
It's a bit of a bargain, really, isn't it?
It would have been different if it had just been absolute rubbish. If he was doing his sort of Strawberry Switchblade covers or whatever, I don't know, at the end of the set.
He does do a lot of those.
But he held back on that, and he played a blinder last night.
He did play a blinder. Although I have to say, there was a little bit of divided opinion in the Vox Pop. Some people seem to feel that he had gone on too long and he didn't give them the greatest hits set.
Oh, really? What did he not play? What did he spectacularly omit? Was Born in the USA there?
Born in the USA was not there, and I think that was the big one that everybody wanted.
Right.
Born to Run was there.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I'd take Born to Run over Born in the USA.
Did he play the theme from the film Philadelphia?
No.
Oh, that's the only one I know.
I thought you were going to say, did he play The Bourne Supremacy?
What he did play, however, is No Surrender, for which he got the lead singer of Gaslight Anthem on stage to repay the favour, because earlier in the day he popped up unexpectedly on the John Peel stage, and literally if you go to the BBC Glastonbury website and watch the Six Music video roundup of the highlights of yesterday, the clip is in there, and the crowd are kind of seen clapping their hands to their foreheads because they can't believe that Bruce has just walked onto the John Peel stage
in such close proximity, because it's only small, isn't it, the Peel stage?
And he kind of
burst
that bubble of anticipation that was building all day yesterday to his set by doing that, which I thought was quite nice.
That's got to be the biggest guest appearance of the festival, surely.
Absolutely.
Because Neil Young wasn't like popping up on other people's sets, was he?
Neil Young, no, very unlikely. However, he had an unexpected appearance on back in London on stage last night from Paul McCartney, so everybody's doing it.
That's right, he was playing in Hyde Park, wasn't he? And he played Day in the Life at the end, which he also did at Glastonbury.
I'm sure I've seen Neil Young around the site, though. There was someone that looked very like him asleep in a skip.
There's a lot of people who look like Neil Young.
Oh, wait a second. He's a great big fat person.
This guy was eating cardboard. Was that him?
That'll be him. Oh, this is tasty.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Can I get some sauce for this? I mean, its taste is fine. I'm not complaining. But if you had sauce, I'd be really happy. It puts the lotion in a basket.
Adam's confusing Buffalo Bill with Neil Young.
What do you mean confusing him? They're the same person, aren't they?
Oh, wait. We're still a great big fat person.
So, Julie, what are you looking forward to today? What are the vibes like for Blur? Do you think they'll be getting any guests up on stage? Unlikely, isn't it?
No, I don't think they will. They don't really need to do that, do they?
No, exactly.
No, they're each other are kind of guests in a way,
Precisely.
you know, because it's an important night for them, isn't it? First time together for how long?
Oh, man, a long time, isn't it? I bumped into Dave Rowntree yesterday. He was saying the last time they were in Glastonbury was, I think, 98, when they were choppered in.
Right.
Choppered in and out. The chopper landed right behind the pyramid stage. They got on stage, did their gig, came right off the stage, back in their chopper, off they went.
Do you think sorry, Julie, but do you think they're going to have an argument on stage?
No.
Is that possible?
It's all harmonious in the Blur camp now.
Would you like to try and orchestrate that?
What if I sabotage one of their guitars, or if I slip a note that seems to have been written by one of them saying, Damon's an idiot hole, into the other one's pocket?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Perhaps, but I think Damon might have his eye on you, though, because Damon was on site yesterday. Did you see him?
We did see him, yeah. He was being refused entry to the BBC compound by two very happy-looking security guards who were really enjoying telling him he didn't have the pass.
Genius.
He got in eventually, though. He didn't look pleased, though.
That's a shame.
I can't wait for that. Anyway, Julie, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks, Julie.
Just before, we're going to play some Bruce Springsteen in a second, but at one stage, Bruce seemed to be joining in the Stephen phenomenon, if I may be so bold as to call it a phenomenon. Here's the moment when he was on stage last night where he's definitely doing a bit of Stevenage. I mean, you can't hear the crowd saying "just coming," but I was shouting it. You can't hear my voice from there. Anyway, thank you, Julie. Here is the boss himself playing last night on the Pyramid stage here at Glastonbury.
That was quite good, wasn't it? I mean, it wasn't as good as, say, us, you and me doing the Song Wars songs on the Pyramid stage would have been. You know, but it's acceptable.
Can't believe we didn't get asked.
I know. Year after year goes by.
That was Block Party. They were playing on the other stage last night here at Glastonbury. That track was called This Modern Love. And before that, you heard Bruce Springsteen. He was headlining, of course, last night on the Pyramid stage. That track was Out on the Streets that we played. Did you watch any of Bruce when you got back to the hotel last night, Joe?
My telly in my hotel room doesn't get BBC Two.
Does it not?
Yeah, so I was forced to go to sleep.
Oh, right.
It was terrible.
The thing that freaks me out about watching Bruce, right, when he's playing live, is, you know, they've got the guy from The Sopranos there. That's all I can think. You don't watch The Sopranos, do you?
No.
But Stevie Van Sant, who is the E Street Band's guitarist, is in The Sopranos.
Right.
And I forget the name of the character he plays on there. That's not yeah.
Guitar Boy Malone.
Mikey Guitar Licks.
Stevie Strings.
And he's quite a weird character.
Frankie
like
Fretboard.
You have to really stick with him the first few series of The Sopranos, because all you can think is like, that's the guy from the E Street Band. What's he doing there? And he's got quite a ludicrous acting style. Like a lot of the acting on The Sopranos is is very finely honed and subtle. But then there are a few actors who play like Tony Soprano's Entourage who go totally over the top with it and pull mad faces, and he's one of them. Like, he's the maximum mad face puller. Like, he just does a crazy kind of Robert De Niro grimace the whole time. And so it's still very odd to see him up there on stage. I like watching the way the shapes of all the musicians change as well. Do you know what I mean?
What, their body shapes?
Yeah, now that they're getting a bit older. It's nice, I think. It's perfectly people have got used to the fact that it's no longer wiry youngsters jumping around on stage playing rock, whereas that was the quintessential type of, image of a rocker. Now it's quite old men. Like Bruce Springsteen's drummer last night was very smart. He looked as if he'd just come from an accounts meeting, and he had his little waistcoat on there and a nice shirt, and was strumming away with a very respectable haircut. It was good. I liked it.
Do you think that there will eventually be mobility scooters on the stage?
At some stage there must be. I mean, there are some disabled rock stars.
Because that would be an exciting show. It would be almost like a bumper car display.
Right.
Along with the performance of the song. They could soup up the mobility scooters.
Yeah.
With some ribbons and stickers.
To make it more rock,
make it more rock.
Well, they could have fireworks and
Imagine the stage diving. A little ramp, the mobility scooter going up to maybe 15 mph, taking off into the front of the crowd.
Don't you think, though, that they would, rather than make it clear that it was a mobility scooter, don't you think that they would dress it up like a rock car or a space car?
Yes, or like a rock, as if they're just perched on a rock. Yeah, that's a good idea. Or a spaceship.
That brings us back to the Flintstones, though.
They could use those things you get on piers, the little rocking ships that go back and forth. You put 20p in them.
That's what Status Quo are using.
Born in the USA. The kids would love that.
Yeah. No, Status Quo are using them.
Are they?
They've got
I hear Status Quo can't actually stand up, so they're actually being operated from above the stage on strings.
They're doing a good job. You know what? They sound pretty good out there. They know what they're doing.
They do sound good, don't they?
But yeah, Rick Parfitt's in a little rocket. There they are. You can hear them.
Yeah. That sounds good.
That sounds decent, doesn't it?
Sounds decent, definitely.
It's good enough, man.
I'll be up front. I'm not a fan of the Quo.
That's good, honest rock.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to uphold BBC Trust and say I'm not a fan of the Quo.
Wow, really sticking your neck out.
I know, it's a dangerous position to take, isn't it? And I'm really standing out in the crowd, putting my head above the parapet. But God bless them. Look, the crowd are loving them. We're going to have some Dizzy Rascal now. Is this a live track? Yeah.
This is Bonkers. He was playing Bonkers last night.
This is good. Great video for this. I love the Bonkers video.
Bonkers.
Here's a live version of it. How very contemporary.
Make sure you follow us on Twitter, MySpace, all of that.
So
YouTube.
Modern. That was Dizzy Rascal. This is Adam and Joe live at Glastonbury on BBC Six Music. It's time for the news.
That was Sparks. Of course, with This Town Ain't Big Enough for the both of us. It's Adam and Joe here on BBC Six Music. I always remember our friend Rob Baker. Do you remember Rob?
Oh, yes.
Who used to be a producer on the Adam and Joe show that we used to make for Channel 4 years ago. He went to the taping of a show called The White Room that Mark Radcliffe used to present, I think. It was Channel 4's big new music show back in the day. And Sparks were playing on The White Room, and they played that song, and they were joined on stage by a guest guitarist, and it was Bernard Butler, who had just left Suede at that point. Wow. And Rob didn't know what Bernard Butler looked like, but he knew about Suede, and he knew that the guitarist had departed. Anyway, knocked out by Bernard Butler's amazing guitar pyrotechnics on the Sparks track, he went up to him afterwards in the studio and said, "Wow, that was amazing. You're incredible. Thanks very much," says Bernard Butler. And Rob goes, "I mean, you should be the new guitarist in Suede." And so Bernard Butler obviously thought he was taking the mick and told him to to do some F-based things.
Yes.
That was a bad thing to say. Rob felt pretty bad about it.
Yeah, wow.
Have you ever made any
rock and roll faux pas? Well, my most famous one was lying to Frank Zappa's sons that I'd heard all their music when we filmed with them. Right. And they saw I've told this story before, but they saw through me instantaneously.
Yeah.
"No, you haven't." "Oh, I really like your new album, by the way." "You haven't heard it." And I just couldn't lie back. And it was just an awful, horrible silence. I went crimson.
I've never seen you
We were supposed to film with them for another hour. I just felt violated and I was so ashamed of myself.
And started shaking.
Since then, I've never lied to a pop performer.
You should know. They can see right through. They've got special X-ray eyes.
Yeah.
We're going to play a bit of David Bowie in a second, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to play Rebel Rebel from his performance in 2002 at Glastonbury.
2000, I think, actually.
Was it 2000? Yes. That was our first year presenting for BBC Choice that year. We presented the coverage for BBC Choice as it was then, BBC Three as it is now. We did it in 2000 and then 2002. And some of you may have read in the Guardian Guide yesterday about the reason we are no longer presenting for BBC Choice. We won't elaborate. You can find your copy of the Guardian Guide and draw your own conclusions. I said some terrible things about clowns in that piece. And I would really like to apologise to any clowns who read that piece and were offended and upset and think that I've got some irrational vendetta.
Adam, the best tactic is just draw a line under it and move on.
I'm worried about being beaten up by clowns.
No, you didn't hear me.
Yeah.
Just move on. Stop. Switch the subject. I want to comment on the number of fantastic fans and listeners to this show that we've met on the site.
Yeah.
And how amazingly civilised they've been. And none of them out of control. Usually you expect to meet some listeners who are off their heads or maybe a little bit, out there. But every single person who came up to us was a really high-quality person, except for one guy, the most far-out fan we had. He was a bit of a sort of a Bez lookalike, wasn't he? He seemed to be slightly absent from his nipples, off his trolley.
He was altered.
But our version of an extreme off-your-trolley fan... he had little woolen finger puppets on every finger.
I think he'd made them, hadn't he?
He's going, this is Mr. Scooby-Doo. Oh, this is Mr. Mouse. Say hello to Mr. Mouse.
They had funny names. I think he was called Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, and he was off his head, but that's our version of an extreme out-there fan, is a sort of insane puppeteer.
They all turned up, though. Many members of Black Squadron turned up to see us read out classic listener made-up jokes.
Yeah, we're going to be playing the audio of that very, very shortly, but here's David Bowie live at Glastonbury in 2000, Rebel Rebel.
That was David Bowie, recorded in 2000 here at the Glastonbury Festival. Oh, what a funny face, but beautiful eyes, though.
Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear.
The bear was Fuzzy Wuzzy.
Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. I don't know the rest of that poem.
You've ruined the Fuzzy Wuzzy poem. When Fuzzy Wuzzy lost his hair, he wasn't fuzzy, was he? Was. Iman, is that the phone ringing? Was. Sorry.
This is Adam and Joe at Glastonbury 2009 live for BBC Six Music, and don't forget there's full coverage of the festival for the rest of the day here on Six Music, and you can find all sorts of exciting feeds from all the stages at bbc.co.uk/Glastonbury. If you're at home, some may say you're in a better position to enjoy the festival than if you're here. I mean, they'd be slightly foolish.
Yeah, because it's been an absolutely beautiful festival. We've been very lucky with the weather thus far. Anyway, listen, folks, we're going to fill you in now on how we got on yesterday when we went to the Cabaret tent and did a stint of live performing for the crowds and for Black Squadron, who turned up in their hundreds to see us read out some classic made-up jokes.
Yeah, if you've contributed a joke to this show, listen carefully, because you never know, your material might be read out in front of a Glastonbury crowd. Check it out.
BBC Six Music, live from Glastonbury 2009, with Adam and Joe.
Hey listeners, we're outside the Cabaret tent. Kevin Eldon is on inside. It's a very, very packed audience in there.
It is. Quite a few people have turned up to see us, which is very heartening. We're just doing this little link outside the tent, and would you say 15 people with cameras have gathered around us?
Yeah, Black Squadron are here, basically.
It's the Black Squadron paparazzi division.
It's amazing.
They're papping us.
And this is intense Stevenage we're getting as well.
Never has there been so much Stevenage. There's waving and excitement.
Look, check this out. If I shout Stephen right now, I'm going to get a good response.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Let's try it.
1, 2, 3. Stephen!
That's pretty good.
Look at that.
Pretty good. They've had a tough weekend, so they're not as tight as they might be.
We didn't even arrange
still
that.
High quality. That was very good indeed.
So here we go.
Hey. Stephen! Woo! This is amazing. This is maximum Stevenage. If you don't know who the hell we are or what we're talking about, we're Adam and Joe. I'm Adam.
Hello, I'm Joe.
We do a radio show on BBC Six Music. We used to be on television a long time ago, before 9/11. 9/11 changed all that. We've been banned from TV now. But we're here tonight to do a very, very fast set, a 4-minute set of pure comedy uranium. These are made-up jokes that our listeners have sent in to us.
Yeah, we have to stress, these are all authored by real people. They're not made by joke scientists. These are organic, fair trade jokes, for the new millennium.
And to maximise the efficiency of this...
Listen, we're going to have to crash this piece of tape because something's wrong with the voices, right?
It's all pitched down with...
And how does that happen in the digital age? I mean, that sounds like some kind of analog problem. If the wheels if the spools were going round too slowly.
Ben Appleyard, our assistant producer, deliberately wanted us to try and make us sound more hunkier.
Really shouldn't have smoked that pipe mid-afternoon.
Oh wait, I got some classy jokes.
But we're going to try and figure that out.
Yeah, we're going to fix
that up.
In
the meantime,
we should apologise for that because there might have been very excited listeners waiting to hear their jokes, and that's a genuine little snafu there. And we'll get that going properly. Don't you worry. We'll tell you how to find that if we can't play it by the end of the show. This is like Britain's Got Talent when the girl broke down.
Right.
It's like a live panic. And we promise that we will give that package another chance to sing before the end of the show.
If we can't, then we will include it in a non-pitch shifted version on the podcast.
Yeah.
So one way or the other you'll hear it. I just want to read out this message that just came in, though, from Lucas. He says, "Hi, my name's Lucas. I'm 7 years old. I listen to your podcast every night." Why does he do that? The same one over and over again. "And I've thought of a made-up joke. My dad's name is Stelios, which is Stephen in English. I didn't know that. There you go. Makes me laugh when you shout, 'Stephen, just coming.' Anyway, my joke is, what do you call a man named Stelios when he stinks?"
I don't know.
Smellios.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I mean,
for a 7-year-old, that's good. That's very promising.
He says, "I really like the jingles at the beginning of the podcast. My favourite's the Batman one."
You might be listening to a different podcast.
Now, that might have been when we sang our names in the style of the Batman theme. Anyway, thank you very much, Lucas Peter Stelios Militiadou.
Here's some Doves live from Glastonbury. Doves with Kingdom of Rust. This is Adam and Joe live from Glastonbury 2009 on BBC Six Music.
Doves were playing last night, of course. Which stage were they on? Peel stage. Oh, there you go. And apparently played fantastically well, as you could hear there. Sorry about the audio there from our Cabaret tent experience, reading out made-up jokes. We're going to, as we said before, we're going to sort it out one way or the other. Don't forget that you can see it probably on the Red Button coverage of Glastonbury at some point.
If you're going to cut back on the licence fee, if you're going to be really hard on the BBC, then things are technically, corners are going to be cut. Things are going to go slightly wrong. People are going to have to get used to it. There are people working very hard with little laptops and not that much, good equipment, but people working really hard here to deliver this stuff.
Oh, wait.
And some of them have been kidnapped by Neil Young and are in various different wells.
Oh, I thought everybody sounded like that.
That's what's going to happen to Ben Appleyard later today. He's going to be fed to Young.
So, Joe, man, I was driving around the other day, stopped off in a motorway service station, one of my favourite things to do.
What a lovely trip.
Birchanger. Do you pronounce it Birchanger? Birchanger?
I just try not to pronounce it at all.
Birchanger. Anyway, I walked past the fun games room, right?
Yes.
Do you ever stop off in the fun games room?
Oh, the little arcade?
Yeah.
It's terrific fun.
Super fun. But they've got big signs there now. I don't know. This is a sign of, I don't know if it's Broken Britain or Stupid Britain or what.
Sign of the Times.
Sign of the Times.
Messed with your mind.
I noticed that Prince was standing next to the sign, pointing at it. So maybe that's...
He loves those driving games.
That was it. Anyway, there were fruit machines inside the fun room, right? And it said, the big sign said, "The golden rules of playing fruit machines."
Yes.
And it was a black poster in red writing, so, like a rabies poster.
So this is an official announcement.
Exactly.
You think government sanctioned?
Definitely.
Possibly.
Definitely. And here are some of the rules, the golden rules of playing fruit machines, right?
Good.
Only play with money you can afford to lose. Afford written in capitals. That's an obvious one, right?
Yeah, but that's a difficult distinction to make.
Right.
I could, how much money can one afford to lose?
We have to work it out before you go into the room.
Right, your weekly expenses, your essentials, disposable income.
Yeah. I mean, I would say maybe a £5. You'd put aside a £5. If you're thinking, I'm in the mood for fun, I want to go in there.
But you see, the point of fruit machines is you could possibly double your money.
That's the thing, isn't it?
So are you going to lose it? You know what? They're saying you're going to lose it? What?
Yeah.
Lose it in a fruit machine? That doesn't make sense.
Well, it says the other rule is set limits on how much you can spend.
Are these capitals you're emphasising?
Yeah, capitals.
Set limits.
Playing within your means can be fun and exciting.
Right.
So it's mainly fun, not so much exciting. The main rule, though, is playing machines is buying fun, not investing money.
Oh, man.
That's rule number 1.
I'm glad you've told me that. I've invested all my money in Fruit Machines PLC.
You've made a terrible mistake.
Yeah, that's every Saturday. That's where I go for my money. I put my wages in the fruit machine in that service station. When I need to spend money, I mean, they charged for withdrawals.
Yeah.
I put more money in to try and get the money out.
And were you getting worried about how much money you were losing and that you weren't really seeing a return on your investment?
I assume all my money's safe in there. I've put a lot in there.
Yeah.
And they are a bit tight with what they give me.
Have you been mainly investing in cherries, bells, or bars?
Bells. I'm going for the bells.
You're an idiot hole.
What?
You've been investing money...
I like the mixed fruit.
...in bars.
But it doesn't seem to pay.
Lemons is what I've put all my money into. So far, I haven't got
commodity.
But according to this poster, playing machines is buying fun. I've just been buying fun, not investing money. It's unbelievable. This is how we've got into this terrible situation that we're in financially as a country, because no one realised that it was just buying fun and not investing money. That's a little public service announcement for you listeners.
Good for you.
Courtesy of Six Music. Play responsibly on those machines. We're going to be joined by Laverne. After this next track, we have got some Franz Ferdinand.
Yeah, this is No You Girls.
That was Franz Ferdinand playing last night here at the Glastonbury Festival 2009. The track was called No You Girls. This is Adam and Joe here on Six Music. Lauren Laverne has just joined us. She's going to be with you very shortly. But our friend Matt Everett from Six Music chatted to Michael Eavis about a few... Was it yesterday or today? It was just now. Here is how he got on.
Hello, this is Lauren Laverne. I've joined Adam and Joe.
Hey, Lauren, how you doing?
Hey, Lauren.
I'm good, thank you. How are you two doing?
We're good, but we've worked a lot less than you. You've been spread across various media, if that's not a peculiar sentence to say.
Spattered all over it like it was all over a painter's radio or something.
Spread-eagled all over, what?
Steady on.
Multi-platform.
Listen, we heard a bit of the tap, though, didn't we? We hear most bands from behind the pyramid stage, because that's where the BBC encampment is. So we don't actually get to see them, but we can hear them.
You can see them on the webcam, they're right there.
That's true. But I mean see them in, with air between them and one's ears.
I scuttled out and saw some tap.
Did you?
I was impressed by them, and they played a good set. Everyone was very pleased, and they sounded amazing. They jazzed up some of their numbers.
Didn't they?
Which was
Sex
one
Farm, I think, or Big Bottom, one of them. They sort of funked it up.
That was good. Big Bottom, they got all the girls out
They get
dancing.
all the horns out and stuff, that's right. But St. Hubbins, his accent is slipping a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I contest that their accents started slipping around Break Like the Wind, because when they made the film, they were in deep. They were in really super deep in improv territory.
No, but you know what? Because they came to...
That's
I
right, you
interviewed
met them
them
yesterday. Right.
And I was saying, and it was to Zane Lowe on the TV coverage, because they interviewed them for telly, and I interviewed them for radio. And it's really weird, interviewing someone in character. That whole thing is really strange.
Yeah.
And they were 100% in character all the time.
Yeah.
And it was really, really odd.
And do they use lines, like when they're interviewed, I noticed they use a lot of lines from the film and stuff and slip them in?
Yeah, I mean, they've definitely sort of, I think, got it all worked out. They know exactly what has happened to Spinal Tap, and you've got to sort of give them the room to go, yes, well, I have been addicted to the internet, and here's a funny bit about that.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you have to establish that beforehand?
No, it's just that you have to act as if they're them.
Yeah.
And then when they do weird stuff, like Derek, was it Derek stormed off? Because he was being Derek, and obviously Derek is incredibly kind of angry and combative. And you're, like, as a human, as an interviewer, obviously, this will be really funny, but as a human, you're like, I really love
Nigel
you.
Tufnell's
I love
combative.
all your films. Please don't walk away and shout at me. But that you've got to kind of take that as part of the thing, right?
Derek Smalls wouldn't storm off. He's the bassist with the big lamb chops.
No, not Derek.
Nigel Tufnell.
I mean Nigel. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Smalls is like lukewarm water. He doesn't offend anyone.
No, he was lovely. His little hangdog peepers were making my heart flutter. So.
Really?
Yeah.
But I saw some of the tap. I saw Kasabian last night a little bit. I was in there, and people were very excited about it. I mean, they're one of the big acts, right?
Well, they're number one. I mean, they've got the number one album. Yeah.
Yes.
So they are absolutely ginormous.
They've got the look, haven't they? I mean, they've got everything going on there. The hair, the clothes, the faces, striking the poses, the choruses.
He does
all brilliantly
he does
organised.
what I've heard referred to as the smout. The
What's
smile.
the smout?
It's halfway between a smile and a pout.
Really?
Right, is that a rock skill?
It's a little bit like, imagine
Can we have
Kira...
that on webcam? Let me check the
do
webcam.
that-
Yeah,
do
we've
that
got
smout.
that. It's
Okay,
sort of over. There you go. That's so good.
That's sexy, you see.
bbc.co.uk/Glastonbury.
Who wouldn't be aroused by that?
It's a pretty good way of talking. And if
no, not again.
Buffalo Bill. That's naturally.
The other thing I like about Kasabian is that they have their own syntax. They will make words do things that they shouldn't. Like when the last album came out, which was called Empire, they decided that empire was now an adjective.
Right.
Which was great. And I think more bands should do that. I think, Slade decided how things should be spelled in the 70s. Since then, the idea's been left alone, but they're
very vocally clear, aren't they? You could really hear all the lyrics, almost to a slightly embarrassing extent during some of the songs. I think it's best for rock bands to, mumble a bit.
I love Kasabian. I did miss them, but I was watching Florence, who was incredible last night.
Yeah.
But I think we'll probably play some of her later, won't we? Because that was amazing. And we'll talk about that a bit. But right now, should we hear some Kasabian? Because I missed it, so I'd really like to hear some of them.
Absolutely. While we strap our packs on and go out foraging.
Okay.
And we'll report back to you from somewhere in the site.
You sniff some truffles and I'll listen to this. Kasabian from Glastonbury. You're with Lauren Laverne on Six Music at Glastonbury 2009, nestling behind the Pyramid stage right now in our little Six Music enclave. Out and about for our benefit, though, are Adam and Joe, who I should be able to hear now if I just fade all the things up. Hello, are you there?
Hello, Lauren. Adam here. How you doing?
Hello, Lauren. The maker. I didn't know if I was going to be able to hear you. Where are you? What's going on?
We are just adjacent to the Pyramid stage on one of the thoroughfares lined with wonderful vegan shops.
It's a shopping street. There's an MFI here. You can buy all sorts of furniture. They're selling used cars. And they're building some sort of a shopping centre, I think. It's under construction over there. No, they're lovely food stalls and loads of people milling around looking happy.
We're by the Solidarity Bar, right?
Yes.
And this is where people come and they show their solidarity by drinking far too much and falling over together in a big pile.
Oh, it sounds like there's some kind of 60s swinging crazy party.
I think Tony Christie is just about to come on stage.
I knew I recognised that. Sound amazing. He's just about to play the Pyramid. So you boys, you're off home soon, right? This is the end of your Glastonbury experience.
Yeah, This is pretty much it for us. We're going to get back on the train. We've both got to get back to London tonight, unfortunately. So we're going to miss Blur, which is very disappointing. Not that, I wasn't excited about the Sprinkler and Neil Young, but I really would have loved to have seen Blur, but there you go.
Never mind. So what have you made of it overall? I mean, obviously, this can't be your first Glastonbury. I know it's not. You've done it for years, but has this been a special year, do you think?
I'm going to come out with a series of cliches for you now, Lauren.
That would be great. Thanks.
Cliche number one. It's the mother of all festivals. Have you got a cliche?
Yeah, I think it is Glastorific. What I did was I put rific on the end of Glasto. That's all I can cry. No, it's been brilliant. I mean, I was really depressed that I thought it was going to be a swampy one on Friday, but it's turned into weather-wise a real beauty, and also an incredibly convivial crowd. Just seem to be really good, sensible people.
Were you expecting ultra-violence again?
Well, sometimes there's a little bit of yobosity, isn't there?
Expecting or hoping for, let's be honest.
Un touche de la yob. But this year, I haven't seen any of it. It's been a lovely, proper sort of contempo hippie festival.
Do you know what I think? It's been oddly emotional, though. I think there's been lots of people crying on stage and people getting really teary and, the reunions.
Can I make a tiny comment? I think it's because when Michael Jackson's passing was announced, everybody got kind of depressed, but then it's made you realise, how lucky we are to see a lot of the musicians here and really value the experience of seeing them live,
Carpe, Joe, carpe.
Carpe diem.
Carpe.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Well, listen, carpe train, you two. You've got to get off.
Yeah.
But listen, I hope that you're going to creep out of there like hepcats in a kind of slightly 60s Mac the Knife way. Is that going to happen? Please tell me, yes?
We're waiting for a chopper. I don't know. We badly want to be choppered out of here.
Well, now that Tony Christie's been, I would imagine they've had to airlift him in. There's no way he's come on the train, is there?
Exactly. We want a chopper, and the pilot of the chopper has been instructed to look out for a couple of choppers, and that's me and Joe, and we'll be getting on the chopper and choppering out.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for catching up with me. See you later. Take care.
See you, Lauren.
Cheers, Lauren. Bye.
That's Adam and Joe off into the great...